I always thought my GT4 was about as close to a perfect track car as you could get out of the box. But after a full day of hot lapping at Buttonwillow's new circuit, that illusion of perfection broke based on a limitation of the stock suspension geometry, which makes the car completely uneconomical for long-term track use. But luckily, it's nothing the aftermarket can't fix. And after riding along in a properly sorted GT3 from WRTeknica, I finally understood exactly what the car was missing.
Let's get a move on. I'm running a little bit late, but luckily running late in a GT4 is no problem. See you at the track.
This is the new Western circuit at Buttonwillow. As I exit the second to last corner, I stay tight to maximize the exit speed on the final left-hander onto the main straight, running wide until almost touching the exit curbing. As we hurtle down the straight, we prepare for turn 1, a kind of sketchy, tight right-hander. If you get it wrong here, you'll careen across the pit lane exit and take a splash in a pond if it's rained recently, which happened earlier in the day to an open-wheeler. Throttle early and exit wide, using about 3/4 of the track on exit. You then immediately get over to the right and prepare for turn 2, a steeply banked left-hander. You want to brake extremely late for this corner and stay tight, then go full throttle as soon as you go over a small crest and start to go downhill again. I prefer to keep the track short here and immediately hug the curbing on the right of turn 3, using all the track on exit. Turn 4 is a deceptively tricky wide right-hander. You may get away with just a lift, but a small brake tap on entry may also help stabilize the car. Turn 5 is another steeply banked corner where you can brake late. I late apex and exit tight to pass the Beamer, but you can take a traditional line here, then get immediately to the left and slow way down for the hairpin turn 6. The track has absolutely no grip on the outside of the entry of this corner, so you can't run wide on entry. Throttle early and late apex for the next straight. Turn 7 is a very fun and technical left-hander with a huge braking zone. You can eat much more curb on the inside than I do in this lap, but I was still kind of learning the track at this point. Turn 8 is my favorite corner on the track, a crazy double apex right-hander where you turn in before braking, straightening out the first half of the corner in order to slow down as late as possible for the second apex. You can also eat a ton more curb here than I do in this lap. For the final chicane, you just want to keep it tidy at first, then focus on carrying as much speed as possible onto the main straight and throttle super early. This lap was far from perfect, and I definitely got faster and more confident over the curbs by the end of the day, but temps rose above 90 Fahrenheit, and so I was never able to beat this time, a 156.385. I was very pleased with this time as I was less than a second behind a GT3 in the same conditions, and actually later in the day in warmer conditions I was able to beat this same car. So my issue with the GT4 is definitely not the handling. This car handles like a dream. It is the way that it manages tire wear, and we're going to cover the specifics of that at the end of the video. But before returning to the track, I had to take a quick pit stop to get ready for a ride-along with racing driver and CEO of WRTeknica, Will Wattanawongkiri, in his 991 GT3.
Got some food. Vincent's looking nice and bug-filled, and gas is mad expensive because we're not getting into that today. We're staying positive. All right, I'm here with Will from WRTeknica. We're gonna take a ride in his 991 GT3, and he's set it up, I think, pretty good, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, we're about to find out.
Unlike me, Will was in the open passing group, so he spent a lot of time sending it past much slower drivers, which was very thrilling. So here's a couple clips of those really cool overtakes. did eventually get a clean lap, so here is an example of what Will can do in his 991 when there aren't any slower drivers in front of him holding him up. It is interesting to note he does take a couple of little different lines than I do. I'm not sure if that's just because he's more experienced. It very well may be the case. There's also a factor that this car has a lot more horsepower, so particularly here, where I take a short line, he ends up taking a much wider entrance into turn 3 to maybe give himself more of an opportunity to be on the throttle for longer on that exit.
You like your cars set up the same way I like my car set up on the nose. It feels very balanced with a little bit of bias towards oversteer, which I like a lot. Yep. Do you have any reasoning behind taking that wide entry back there?
Just to be able to take that right-hander a little bit faster.
My first attempt at an in-car interview with Will was interrupted by an overtake and a chase with this beautiful red GT3 RS, who's actually also a customer of Will's. Let's just sit back and enjoy the beautiful engine note of these two beasts here.
Car's on slicks.
He was pretty fast.
Oh yeah.
Well, he also did have the tire and car advantage. I'm sure you haven't touched the engine, just the handling stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, what's all done to this car with handling?
Some of our suspension arms, and we did the spring upgrade package with our spring adapters. So we CNC the spring adapters for this car. The brake pads, wheels, and tires package. Brake pads and rotors. Giro disc rotors.
Well, it feels really good, so thanks so much for the ride.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm actually gonna go cool it down a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I was starting to cool down, but then we were chasing that car.
Yeah.
So the brake got a little hot.
I always think, oh, it's my in-lap, time to cool down, and then I get my adrenaline going, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to cool down.
Yeah.
I saw on your YouTube channel, your best time here is like a 148?
I don't have my best time uploaded. I think my GT3 did 47 46 or 45, one of those, I don't remember. But that video was like the very first day it opened, so the track didn't even have grip yet.
Yeah, it looked very green and a little bit dirty too.
Yep. Yeah, we're doing like 150, but these are not like the fast tire. These are the tires that we could do laps all day. It's like very consistent.
Well, my tires, like, I kind of already abused the shit out of them. They're graining to hell already.
Little did I know how bad my tire wear would actually be. After continuing to lap for the rest of the day, I managed to end up the fastest driver in the 1 to 4 p.m. session, at least among the cars using the transponders provided by the track day org, Speed District. But that pace did come at a price. After the final session, my tires were absolutely cooked, and the outside edge was corded. This was after only one track day with about 3 hours and 45 minutes of total track time. But I don't think that my issue was the tires themselves. It was the alignment. I had previously maxed out my car's stock camber adjustment, but it's clearly not enough, as the tire is definitely rolling under the rim and losing contact patch, as evidenced by this damage. So the car that I had thought was a perfect track-ready monster actually turns out to be fundamentally incapable of properly managing its tires, as it does not provide the camber adjustment necessary to avoid premature tire wear at the outside edge. If your tires aren't correctly utilized, then no other handling modification is going to make a difference. So my next steps are going to be to increase camber using aftermarket parts. Despite the tire wear issues, I am still totally in love with my car, and I can't wait to financially recover from the cost of both the consumables and the incoming camber plates, so that I can destroy another set of tires soon. Hopefully the increased camber will help me avoid destroying them as quickly though. But financially recovering might take some time, because I am going to be driving a Ferrari 488 challenge car in Italy in an upcoming video. So subscribe if you're interested in seeing that, or if you just want to support my ongoing financial ruin. Thank you so much for watching.